Yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now, the Goblet of Fire is the fourth book in the Harry Potter series, so as you guys probably already concluded, this is the fourth year for Harry Potter and his friends at Hogwarts. However, this year is different because there is a big change at Hogwarts. A change I'll get into in just a moment. The story starts off with Harry, Ron, Hermione, and a good chunk of the Weasley family. When I say a good chunk, that's a lot of people because the Weasleys it's a big family. They all go to the Quidditch World Cup. And as you guys know, I'm probably really excited because, well, I love Quidditch. I think it's one of the more fun, interesting, and unique aspects to the Harry Potter world. Unfortunately, we don't go into too much detail about the Quidditch World Cup, but it's still cool that they have a Quidditch World Cup. Anyways, after the matchup is over and the champion is crowned, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, along with the Weasleys, return to the tent, only to have an attack happen during the festivities. Yes, these individuals cloaked in black, causing muggles to dance in the air, shooting flares up in the air with skulls and snakes coming out of the skulls, are just causing destruction and turmoil all over the place. Who are these people? Well, they're the Death Eaters, and they are Lord Voldemort's servants. Yes, even though the Dark Lord, he who shall not be named, you know who, whatever you want to call him, even though he's not around, his servants are still running amok and causing trouble. Anyways, Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to school, go to Hogwarts, and they find out exactly what this big change is. And that change is that for this year, Hogwarts is going to be holding the Triwizard Tournament in place of Quidditch. Yeah, it's kind of sad. There's no Quidditch for Harry this year. However, we do get the Triwizard Tournament, which is a more than enough substitute for Quidditch. Now, you're probably asking, Andrew, what exactly is a Triwizard Tournament? I mean, come on, give us some information. I shall. The Triwizard Tournament is a tournament held between three schools, and Hogwarts is hosting it. Now, this tournament hasn't been done for a long time because a lot of people have died in. However, they say that they have safety precautions all around the tournament and making sure that no one gets hurt this time around. So this is the first time in probably 100 plus years that they're actually holding this tournament. And what happens is that a champion is selected from each school. 3 champions total. And they are selected by individuals who put their names in something called the Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire then selects who is the most worthy from each school, and they become the champion for that school. Then those champions compete amongst each other in 3 tasks to become the Triwizard Champion. And we have our 3 champions from each school. That is to say, we have 4 champions from each school. Kind of. Allow me to explain. Dumbledore put a little restraint on the Goblet of Fire, and you had to at least be 17 years old to enter into the tournament. But despite the fact that he didn't put his name in the goblet, despite the fact that he is too young and he couldn't possibly even attempt to put his name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry's name pops out. He doesn't know why, he didn't put it in there, but someone else must have. So it looks like someone wants Harry to go into the tournament. But why? And who? To what end? Well, unfortunately, rules are rules. And although he's underclassed, underage, and outmatched, Harry enters into the Triwizard Tournament as one of the 2 Hogwarts champions. The other one being Cedric from Hufflepuff. And then you had Crumb from one school, and I don't even know how to pronounce the girl from the other school. But you have your 4 champions. So, each of them have the 3 challenges that they have to deal with. And unfortunately, Harry has to do this on his own. He can't have help from Ron, he can't have help from Hermione, and, well, he can't have help from anyone else. Despite this, there's always some people laying some hints down here and there. Particularly the new Defense Against the Dark Art teacher, Professor Moody. Now, Professor Moody is a really crazy, loco individual. So crazy, he messed up my hair. Such a crazy individual because he would go off and he would hunt down dark wizards, but he became so paranoid because, Well, I mean, it's like Batman going around and vigilanting all the time. You're gonna go a little crazy after a while. Anyways, the really cool thing about Moody is he has this little eye that's even able to see through Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. While this is all going down, things in Harry's life seems to crumble with it. His friendship between Ron gets incredibly strained due to jealousy. He is all alone in the school because everyone is upset at him for the fact that he has put his name in the Goblet of Fire, or at least everyone thinks that he's put his name in the Goblet of Fire. And a dark wave is coming nearer and nearer, and it looks like Lord Voldemort's power is growing and growing. So the question is this: not only can Harry Potter, will he win the Triwizard Tournament, but can he actually survive the Triwizard Tournament? Will he be able to get out of it unscathed? Would he even be able to get out of it alive? I mean, this is a dangerous event. Dragons, sea monsters, and trees, bushes, stuff. Well, you know, there's a lot of dangerous thing in this tournament. So, let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, the Goblet of Fire had a great story. An excellent balance between side stories and main story. Harry's thrown into the tournament, which is a constant thing that's happening. He's trying to figure out who put him into this tournament. And while this is going down, a lot of side stories are going on. Ron and Hermione have a little thing going on, a little bickering going on, while Ron and Harry have a little bickering going on. Harry also has great rivalries with the other champions. We also get Dobby, who comes back, who helps out Harry, who wasn't in the movie, but we're not going to talk about the movie. Sirius shows up quite a bit in this, as well as some other stuff that happens. There's a lot of side stories as well as the main story, and it does a great job at balancing that. I like the concept of the Triwizard Tournament. I like the fact that they had the three schools come in. I enjoyed each champion. My particular favorite outside of Harry was probably Cedric, although I liked Krum a lot too. Krum is the man. Sure, he may have a head full of nothing, but he's Krum, and I like him. And the big atmosphere, the involvement, the immersion into this book is very nicely done. That equal to probably the first book. You feel like you're part of this world, this universe, and it's really, really fun. And like I said, Sirius shows up in this, and I like how Sirius actually gets more development in this book than he did previously. There's also a lot of touching moments in this, one of which I really like outside of the moments with Sirius is the ones with Mrs. Weasley and Harry, which, you know, seems kind of odd, but family members show up to support each champion. You think, oh no, that means Harry's aunt and uncle are going to show up. But no, it's actually Mrs. Weasley that shows up. And she becomes kind of a motherly figure to him. And I really like that. I think that's a good story angle. The ending to this is beautifully done. And the build-up for it is very nice. It's not quite as a predictable book as the previous three were on exactly who does what and who's the culprit and all that. However, you can at least be guided in the right direction. You at least have an idea of what's going on and who's to blame, kind of, in a way. You just have to read and see what I'm talking about. Bad. The only bad that I really have with this is it feels as though Harry's still being portrayed as though he's like 10 and 11. Ron and Hermione seem to be a little bit older. They act a little bit older, especially Hermione, who goes through a great metamorphosis in this book, which is different from in the movies, because as I read each book, I watch the movie afterwards, which is probably not the best thing to do, because it's fresh in my mind. But anyways, in the movies, Hermione just grows a little. I mean, her hair changes, and that's the big difference. But in the books, Hermione changes a lot. She becomes more attractive. Her teeth gets fixed. In the books, her teeth are kind of buck teeth, kind of like a mouse. Her hair gets a little bit more smoother and not so bushy. So Hermione makes drastic changes. Ron kind of grows up a bit, but Harry still feels like he's 11 years old, and he's still new to the wizard world. By the end of the book, he does feel as though he's grown a bit, but throughout the book he still feels as though he's a kid. And what is he, like 14 or 15 years old now? I mean, it just feels as though they don't treat him as though he's that much of a teenager yet. Outside of the crushes that he has, because he has some crushes in these books. But that's really the only bad. on a whole, how does this stand up? Well, I can honestly say, out of all the Harry Potter books that I've read so far, which is just four, the first four, this is my favorite. The Goblet of Fire is really a great book. It's well paced, it has more than enough pages in it and chapters in it so that you can have the immersion, the side stuff, and a good main plot because you have enough pages in there to do that. All the characters are well defined. I like the relationships that go on here for ill or for good. The story wraps up nicely, and there's a lot of touching moments at the end, as well as some sad ones, too. Like I said, this is my favorite book out of the bunch thus far. It really feels like a turning point for the Harry Potter series, too, because it gets a lot darker towards the end, and from what I'm told, and again, this is from secondhand information, the Harry Potter books get a lot darker. But this also feels like a turning point for Harry, because although I said he does seem like he's still kind of a kid throughout the book, it feels like he's forced to grow up at the end of this one, which is good. It's character development. I like it. This book was overall good, and out of the whole entire Harry Potter series that I've read so far, this is my favorite. It is a hefty read. Although Harry Potter books are easy to read in terms of other books, like, let me just take an example. The Star Wars stuff. There's less words to the page, and the pages are bigger, and the font are bigger, but you're still going to take some time to read this. I believe there's 37 chapters in all. I'm 99.99999% sure. Yep, 37 chapters in all. But yes, good book, and this makes me want to pick up the next book very quickly. I don't know what's next. Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince? I think it's Order of the Phoenix. Again, I got these books from my coworker, and I picked them up on the side just in case I ever want to reread this stuff. But I'm probably going to jump into the next book. I may take a break because I want to finish up some other books I'm reading. But good. Pick it up. Really fun, really enjoyable, and it feels like the Harry Potter series is finally getting its stride. It's hitting it on the nail, right on the head, each and every single time. Love it. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. Goblet of Fire, my favorite book in the Harry Potter series thus far. But hopefully, the other books will only get better. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.